The green light is on here at the Circuit de Barcelona. It's time to get up and running for FIA Formula 3 and the 45-minute practice session. Circuit de Barcelona, Catalonia here in Spain hosts the opening practice session for FIA Formula 3 here in 2024. It's round 5 of the season out of 10. We're at the halfway stage and the championship is as close as ever. The car's just heading out onto the circuit. Alongside me in the comment box is the little owl, more commonly known as well as Jack. Good morning, Jack. How are you doing? And a good sunny morning here in Spain after the rain of yesterday. And hopefully we'll have a sunny today and tomorrow and then a rainy Sunday. But good morning. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good myself, personally. It's looking like a pretty interesting weekend. I mean, Formula 3, always very exciting due to the driving standard or sometimes lack thereof. It's always a very exciting weekend with as there's more cars, more chaos, and usually some very unique winners.
Absolutely, we've had 8 different winners of the opening 8 races so far in FIA Formula 3. As we see Luke Browning in the high-tech Pulse 8 coming through very slowly, actually, at the top of the turn 4 as well, down to, or 3 actually, down towards turn number 4. The exit of the angle. Wonderful view of the industrial straight just over the other side of that bridge as well, which is always quite fun. It's beautiful at sunset, actually, as well. We walked the track at the end of test day back in 19 as well, and don't be underestimated, it's 20 degrees over there track temperature 23.3 degrees. It's still roasting over there as well. The humidity levels at 53% as well, so it's nice and warm over there as they all come through very slowly. We've got 12 of the 30 cars out on the circuit right now. Luke Browning is the last of them who came out of the circuit, but no one's really at the moment moving around as we get the new documents from F1 starting to come through from F1 Twitter. There's Matthias Zagazeta as well for the Genza squad coming through. What have you got a feeling on there, Jack, coming into this weekend with Formula 3 as well? Are you expecting a calm race or all hell to break loose in the sprint in the future?
I'm personally hoping for all hell to break loose. I think that this is usually a pretty chaotic track for Formula 3. Always usually at least one pile up on the first lap, and I know it's off topic, but it's good to see Zagazeta back after he was off for Monaco with appendicitis.
Yeah. He's going to win then, isn't he, basically? That's what we always know.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we saw it with Carlos Sainz. It's the reduction of weight, I think, that's going to help.
Who had appendicitis? Well, Albon got points when he came back as well, so it's always seems to be that factor to keep it up and keep going. Someone needs to tell me how to turn that bleep off as well, because we've got self-scrutineering now coming through for the drivers on the Discord notifications. So as we take a look, there's Gabriel Mini, the Prima team as well. Arguably should have been promoted up to Formula 2 after an impressive F3 season last year, but still in Formula 3 for what we expect the last time. If you're wondering what's going on right now, why not everybody's out on the circuit, it's a new rule in Formula 3 this season and Formula 2, is the fact that the opening 15 minutes of the session is now considered track acclimatization time. So you go out there, you learn the circuit, then you come back in, you shake the car down, make sure it's all okay. Then, with 30 minutes to go, the normal track action practice session begins. So just a small rule change, especially crucial in Formula 3, where there are so many cars piling out on track once as well, the stewards felt it was safe enough to sort of go, right, everyone slow down, then we'll go again, and you'll get a chance to acclimatise better, which I think, Jack, is the best thing to do, because otherwise, as we saw in Monaco almost, it becomes dangerous out there on the circuit if we let all 30 go out, someone fast, someone slow lap times.
Oh yeah, absolutely. While this track is definitely not as tight as somewhere like Monaco, it still can be quite dangerous when you got some drivers going a lot slower than others. So yeah, it's probably best to have this track acclimatization, especially for people who've just not been here before.
No, totally. I agree with you there as well. And there's some drivers that haven't been here before on the F3 calendar. The beauty about Barcelona is that it sometimes is used on international junior series. I know we know for a fact that Euro Formula come here. George Morgan has commentated on a couple of those races as well, if you follow the PSGL lineup as well. And Formula Renault come here. Well, it used to be Formula Renault. What's now Formula about the Alpine series as well. Freca come here. So it's a nice track to be bedded in. Some sausage rolls and some pasties now being enjoyed as it's, what was it, 10 o'clock over there, so it's very much breakfast time. I ate the remaining of an apple pie before we came in for breakfast as well, just for the box. So that was
I am
quite nice.
literally on no food right now, so...
You've had no food at all?
Nope.
You did well to get to the box, to be fair.
I mean, to be fair, it's literally like... It's in my room, so like, it helps.
It
I
does.
have like a computer in my room. That helps a lot. I wake up and I look at the time and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's 45 minutes past.
Yeah, I did not want to get up. I got to sleep about 2 o'clock. We'll continue this in a minute.
Yeah, being, I mean, leader of the championship,
Yeah,
and of course coming from last race win, it's of course something that puts you in a good mood, in a good mindset also for these events that are coming. We know those next 6 weeks basically the World Championship are crucial for it. So yeah, all we gotta do is just to keep on working hard, you know, don't get too relaxed because we won the last race. So still keep working hard and try to maximize everything we have.
That's Gabriel Mini, leader in the championship at the moment. As he says, in 6 weeks' time, we're in Monza, and then the season ends there. Doesn't go the whole distance as well for everything. Triple header, of course, coming up. Well, it's not even 6 weeks. It's a it's a lot longer than that. As well, coming into it, because we finished there in September, so it's 3 months away. Gabriel Mini needs a bit of a hit there because don't waste away the season. It's triple headers, so we've got a race here in Barcelona, then we fly over to Austria for next weekend, a sprint weekend for Formula 1 as well, and then the British Grand Prix at Silverstone as well, the big crescendo coming up as well. Can't wait for that one. But yeah, go back, Jack, to what we were saying. Yeah, I got to bed at 2 and had to get woken up at 6:45. Did not enjoy that one bit. So yeah, very much looking forward to it as well. And we're low on team members today as well, with it being the last Friday as well for many people. JT isn't here until this afternoon, and he'll be taking us through the IndyCar practice later on tonight as well. Jess is at work, so she'll be back for qualifying for F1 Academy later, and in the pit lane area as well for other series, I assume. Megan's back with us for practice 1, but Jack's with me for practice F2, F3, and I think you're around in F1, aren't you? Something I think I saw on the sheet.
Yeah, I think I'm in practice 1 for F1.
Fantabby-dozy. And we'll keep an eye on everything as it goes as well. On board now with, can't tell who it is actually, this on board camera. It's sort of frozen a little bit. As the clouds look
Williams,
it's one of them.
I want to say that's Luke Browning.
So he's hopped out of the car, came in at 9:59, so about 5 minutes ago he sort of hopped out of the car. So now we're in a hurry as always to head out on the circuit because it's acclimatisation time in the 5 minutes, and we might see it as well. Let's cross over to Chris McCarthy and Alex Randall, who are in the commentary box at the moment.
T8 races so far is High-Tech Pulsate, and we spoke to their team principal, Ollie Oakes, about that.
Yeah, I mean, it's obviously a big moment for the series. I'm slightly fortunate that probably I don't know if this is true actually, if we're one of the youngest teams here or not, in the sense of we joined in 2019, and for us, you know, it's great to be a part of, and I think we're now seeing as well those generations be on the door to F1 from the last sort of, you know, more than 3 years, since 2019. So it's great, yeah.
Good to hear from Oliver Oakes there, talking about joining, of course, when we converted this championship into Formula 3, and they were on the podium the very first weekend of Formula 3 racing here with Yuri Vips. They've taken 2 more podiums since then, including one last year with championship contender Luke Browning when he finished second in the sprint race. So they certainly know how to get on podiums around here, do high-tech Pulsate at this circuit. Haven't quite got on the top step in Formula 3 terms around this circuit yet, but nevertheless they have come very, very close. The teams that have won around here so far include Prima Racing, ART Grand Prix and Campos Racing so far. Prima Racing very, very successful here so far. 6 times they have won, including, as I mentioned, with the likes of Rob Schwartzman, the very first race, and Oscar Piastri. ART Grand Prix, 2 wins for them here at F3 level, including with 2022 champion Victor Martins. And Campos Racing have those 2 historic wins with Spanish drivers Pepe Marti and David Vidales as well. We'll see how the other teams can get on as we are waiting for the cars to come out. With that, let's look back as we've been talking about this road to 100. Let's mention about some of the classic moments. Did some looking back as I was preparing for this about when some of these classic moments came. We had race 1. Rob Schwartzman became the first winner in Formula 3. Race 15, he was crowned the first champion. He had a scintillating campaign in Schwartzman. 3 wins, 8 podiums, a worst on-track finish of 8th in 14 races. And all he had to do then was seal the title over his teammate Marcus Armstrong at Monza, and he did that at Sochi, so did it on home soil, did Rob Schwartzman. As I mentioned, for him now, went then to the 24-hour of Le Mans last week for AF Corsa and put them in the lead by over 40 seconds. He put in a superb effort there. Unfortunately for them, mechanical issues put them out of the race, but Schwartzman showing what this championship can do for drivers. Well, Sophia Flörsch, her moment came in this championship as well. Of course, she became the first female driver to score points as well. That came at Spa. Do you remember that race? That was an absolute classic where the rain fell at Spa. That happened on race 88. Sophia Flörsch becoming the first female to score points. We had drivers gambling on setups. We had some drivers starting on slicks, some on wets, and then some that had started on those slick tyres, gambled, then swapping back to wet tyres. It was a really, really interesting race, wasn't it, where we had even our leader, Paul Aron, came into the pits and changed tyres throughout the race. He was on wet tyres, came in and put slick tyres on, and it was those drivers who stayed out on wet tyres, including Sophia Flörsch. She was one of 6 drivers who stayed out on wet tyres, and with that she came through the field. Ollie Goethe was the driver who brought out a safety car after he had a crash at Eau Rouge, and that then just brought a flurry of drivers into pit lane. 6 drivers then stayed out. Some of those came in, including race leader Paul Aron, and it led to an absolutely fascinating race. Taylor Barnard was one of the drivers staying out, along with his JBMotorsports teammates. They had a first, third and fourth with Taylor Barnard, Nikita Bedrin and Alex Garcia. And Sophia Flörsch came from 24th on the grid to 7th to become the first female to score points. That came in race 88. Race 17 was the arrival of Oscar Piastri. Of course, he's gone on now to do all the things we do know, finishing on the podium in Formula One. It was fantastic to see him. We had a long wait for the season that year when Oscar Piastri came and amended a calendar as well, which had included 2 rounds at Red Bull Ring and Silverstone, and we had that visit to Mugello. The 2020 season did look very different, didn't we? We had visits to Bahrain and Zandvoort, both delayed, but we went racing that year for the first time on the 4th of July at Red Bull Ring. Oscar Piastri, a reigning champion in the Formula Renault Euro Cup, coming in to the season and took the win, being followed home by Logan Sargent, and he would get on the podium as an American on the 4th of July. Race 20, Théo Pourchaire made some history. He became what was then the youngest driver. He, of course, has gone on since to race in Super Formula and in IndyCar as well. Has had a brief spell racing in IndyCar. He took his first Formula 3 win on just his 2nd weekend at the age of 16 in race 2 at the Red Bull Ring. Round 2 set up a really great title fight that year as well. Arvid Lindblad then went on to break that record. Then race 34 was that thrilling showdown at Mugello. You might remember we had a great title fight that year, didn't we? Oscar Piastri, Théo Pourchaire, Logan Sargent. There were just 8 points between Piastri, Sargent and between Piastri and Sargent. Pourchaire 24 points back. Sargent crashed at the start of the race, which took him out of contention. Then it was this battle between Piastri and Pourchaire, which went right down to the wire. We had Pourchaire trying to charge through. He eventually got through the field. He got through to 3rd, but Piastri driving a composed race to finish in 7th place. And that was enough to take the title. Pourchaire got through to 3rd, but when he got there, the top 2 were just too far ahead. We'll do some more reflection on the road to 100, but let's first talk about some history and hear from the first ever Bulgarian winner, Nikola Solov.
I didn't expect it to come so quick after the start of the year, but in the end I just kept calm going to Monaco. Imola wasn't great before, so I was kind of prepared if something goes wrong, but everything seemed to kind of start getting to my way, and you know, I had an opportunity to win the race, and
Good to hear from Nikola Solov, and did a vital race there to turn his season around, a season that was taking a dip, it has to be said, and did very well to turn it around and made Fernando Alonso very, very proud, who celebrated that podium with him. Going back to the road to 100, well, where did we get to next and some of the moments I picked out for you? Race 50, introducing the next Leclerc. That was where Arthur Leclerc won race 1 of round 6 at Zandvoort for Prima Racing. It would be his 2nd win of the season in his debut year, and he would go on to finish in the points in all the remaining races and finish very strong. It was a great win for Arthur Leclerc, of course, younger brother to Charles. Race 53, Dennis Hauger, that's when he took his 3rd title. He'd taken 3 wins and 8 podiums up until that point. He needed just the 1 more at Sochi, and 2nd place was enough to secure the title over Jack Doohan. Of course, Jack Doohan now being very strongly linked to drives up in the top ranks of Formula 1. He's already tested in free practice. Dennis Hauger doing great things in Formula 2, and he's right up there in the top 10. Race 55, Isaac Hadjar won our very first race in Bahrain. He didn't quite win the race on the circuit. Of course, that went to Ollie Behrman, but he got a track limits penalty, and Isaac Hadjar, a Red Bull junior, of course, introduced himself to the paddock going in to go and take his first win on his debut. It was a really, really fantastic job from Isaac Hadjar. Then that led to a really brilliant season, didn't it, that year? 2022, what a year. And race 72, we saw something we'd never seen before. The boy from Barbados, Zane Maloney, completed a feature race hat-trick. Do you remember that? He'd won all the last 3 feature races in a row, and that brought Zane Maloney into mathematic contention to possibly win the title going into the final race. It was something none of us were expecting to happen, and then we had that superb showdown. He won the feature race at Spa despite having a huge shunt the day before. He then won the feature race at Zandvoort, Zamaloni, and then in race 72, he won the feature race at Monza as well. And of course, the race ended in the pit lane. Victor Martins, despite carrying a 5-second penalty, became the champion, with the race not resuming after a crash between Ben Benavides and Kush Maini. Well, let's hear from Joseph Loke. He got the first points of the season for Road in Motorsport with a 5th place finish, 2 top 10s, and we spoke to him about that yesterday.
I think you just got to take each weekend as they come. You know, they're obviously going into a triple header. It's something I've never done before, but you know, it was a double header for the first time with Imola and Monaco, and I think I handled that okay. So it's just another weekend on top of that, and of course Silverstone's the last one of the 3. So I'm just looking forward to it. You know, I get to go home in between each round. You know, I have a couple of days where I can just chill out, you know, relax and reset for the next weekend, which I think will be quite important, especially if, you know, one of the weekends doesn't go to plan.
And we have cars finally coming back out onto the circuit after around about a 10-minute break. 25 minutes to go, and Jack, this is getting really ridiculous now, isn't it? They just leave half the session now.
It's like the old F1 qualifying, where it's like 40 minutes they just all didn't come out, and for like the last 20 minutes they came back out.
Yeah.
To set their laps. I don't know if you remember that back in like the 90s and stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was alive when it was on last year as well. I remember watching those qualifying sessions, especially more in 2002. The hour-long sessions where if it rained, you didn't really have anything to do until the last 20 minutes, as you say, and that was, God, that was boring as well. That's why they changed it in 2003. It became in 2003, it became 2 qualifying sessions with your fastest time on each, setting the grid. Then in 2004, it was the same. 2005, for the first 6 races, it was aggregate qualifying where you had running clock. So your time from Saturday and your time from Sunday were combined together to give you the race, to give you the grid. That didn't work because we got to race 1 and it chucked it down on the Saturday and it was dry on the Sunday, and it didn't work. So yeah, they abandoned that after 6 races, and then we just went back to Saturday afternoon single lap qualifying, which I still think was one of the best qualifiers we had. I love it. Single lap quali was, I mean, the system we got now with the elimination, that's great. It works really well. It gives us a crescendo, but single lap qualifying was really good. I really want it back for the sprint races. We don't need on a weekend 2 knockouts. A single lap quali for the sprint would be fantastic. What's Esterson done here then? Oh, whoa! Lots of smoke billowing out from the back of the Genza there, Jack, and I think that's hopefully just like an overspill of oil.
Oof. I don't know what that is because he seems all right now.
Yeah.
But that's not a good sign to see smoke coming out the back of the car. And also on your point about qualifying,
Yeah.
I think the latest qualifying format, I think the knockout qualifying, I think is absolutely brilliant because it allows everyone to see these cars who's in the grandstands to actually see these cars for the entire session going around the track. Which
That's
is
true.
honestly what I think the design of the session's based around. You get to see everyone on track all day. Brilliant.
What about when we have it in sprint quali as well? Would you not change that up a little bit?
Yeah, a little bit. I think 1 lap qualifying would actually be quite cool. I mean, they do it over in
Yeah.
NASCAR, I think. So.
They do, yeah, on ovals it's 1 lap. Yeah.
The ovals, yeah.
It's group
It was
stage.
really entertaining.
When we have qualifying for NASCAR, though, that's the thing. It's like sometimes we don't even do it. That's why here on JBMotorsports, if you ever wonder why for every other series we show everything, but for NASCAR we only show the races, that's because NASCAR is so unpredictable whether we run a practice session, a qualifying session or a race, or we just run a race, or we run a qualifying and then the race, or we run a practice then a race and no qualifying. It's so unpredictable. So for continuity's sake, we only show the races. But it's a 3-hour broadcast for the race, closer to 4. So we sort of we get what we need by just doing the race broadcast itself. And Jack, you're going to be on with us this weekend as well. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Yep. It'll be fun. It's not the most exciting track. It is New Hampshire, but it's going to be enjoyable, sure. Because New Hampshire's a flat track.
Yeah.
It's one of those that doesn't have that much banking. It's similar to, it's probably the biggest flat track, but I know I'll be watching in the background. I do recommend for anyone who is able to, please do also watch the modified race when that's on, because that's going to be amazing.
It is. I'm gonna keep an eye on that one as well. Put it in the box as well.
Definitely, that's going to be amazing. They actually have restrictor plates in on the modified because they just go so fast. It's ridiculous.
Flat track racing is interesting as well. But I wish they'd just let them put a flat track dirt race would be quite nice to see. Bristol didn't really work that well, but yeah.
Bristol's was all right, I thought personally. Just the issue was the costs.
Yeah, we need to go back to a proper dirt track that's actually purpose built for it.
That would be a good idea. I love a bit of dirt racing, so.
Oh, and when we go back to Bristol later on in the year, we're going to have the webcam full screen for all the race as well. So we get a chance to be commentators, not just watch-alongs for that one. That time's starting to come through on the board. So we got Van Hopen at the top, 155, 285, but they're going to rock it down shortly as well. It's a faster lap here since we went back to the old layout. Slightly modified old layout though, because at Campster we used to go straight off down towards a sort of chicane on the back stretch, but they've changed that into a straight, which is the only change, because we've gone back to the original turn 10, which is a loop around. It's quite funny to me though, Jack, that we spent all these years adjusting Barcelona, and then finally we get it the way we want it as fans. By the way, now we're off to a street race.
I know, it's crazy. And I was like, why are we even going to Madrid? We've got enough street races on the calendar, if I'm going to be honest with you. I think we've got well more than enough on the calendar. And don't get me wrong, I love a good street race. I think it's great. Yeah. I think it's great to be going to all these cities. But really, do we need another one? And honestly, personally, if you want my opinion, I think personally we should have Spanish Grand Prix and the Madrid Grand Prix. I think we should have them as two separate races. Separate,
yeah. Or play devil's advocate, like when we had Valencia on the calendar. The Madrid Grand Prix should be the European Grand Prix. That's my take.
Madrid Grand Prix is a bit more marketable.
I would love a European Grand Prix that alternated yearly. It guarantees us a new venue every year. Like 1 year it's at Nürburgring, Hockenheim, Donington's up to speed as well. They just need a couple of tweaks and that'll be fine. Then we go as well, Madrid, just anywhere as well. Bring Mugello in as well for a couple of races. Just bringing in classic circuits, and then it just makes a bit more room on the calendar for everything else. And there are rumours circulating that we're alternating Spa with the Netherlands, but that looks to be increasingly less likely. The Netherlands, it looks like, is only on a contract until 2028, but as soon as Max Verstappen retires, they're going to drop it, which I understand, but
I like the track.
I like the track. It's for the last couple of years, it's actually given us good racing. It did in 21, but 22 and 23, especially 23, they were great races.
Yeah, I love the banked corners as well, because the first time F1's been on banked corners, correct me if I'm wrong, since like the 60s, other than maybe Indianapolis.
Yeah, Indy was 9-degree banking, but at Zandvoort was 13-degree banking? It's insane. It's a proper bank corner. Indianapolis is an oval circuit, but yeah, it's not oval.
Yeah, nothing compared to like Daytona or anything, but like it's still pretty decently sized.
It's so good as well. Oh, a lot of traffic then coming out of turn 10 into 11 and 12. So we just saw as well on the screen in front of us a bit of an issue for car 5 trying to get through of Sami Megatunov. Why did I say Megatunov? What am I going about? Sami Megatunov as well having a bit of an issue coming out the last corner. I'm going mad now with my eyesight. It's because it keeps glitching. You want to see it on your side. The timing speed keeps moving around like crazy in order to register where everybody is on the circuit. We are now in towards the braking zone. Gabriel Mini's fastest.
I thought I'd do some for comparison's sake with the banking. It's about the same as Iowa.
Oh, all right then. And that's where we were
About
last
the same.
week, yeah.
And honestly, that Iowa NASCAR race looked like a real success.
It did, yeah, yeah. I watched it back. I didn't.
I see.
I still miss the fact that I wasn't in the common trucks the last 2 weekends. I'm looking forward to getting back in for this weekend. Next.
I'm trying to think, what did you miss though? Sonoma, you missed Martin Truex running out of fuel and only just making it to the line.
I saw that.
Him announcing his retirement.
Yeah.
Iowa, not much happened except Bragson pulling off one of the best saves I've ever seen.
That was a good save. Yeah.
Quite frankly.
Well, I was shattered. I had to
if
get
we count Xfinity, if we count Xfinity as well, you missed the another SVG win.
Yeah, every time I'm not watching Xfinity at the moment, SVG's winning, so I've been asked not to watch it so that he wins.
Put it on a road course. Just
Yeah.
put it on a road course. He's gonna win. He's one of the best road racers I think who's ever come into this series. Because like while people like AJ Allmendinger, they have that level, they are good at road courses. SVG actually had success. He has 3 championships, I think, in the Aussie Supercars. This is a no-joke driver, and I think he fits quite well into the NASCAR personality, personally.
He does. He's doing Cup next year, hopefully, with some Xfinity, so he's going to swap it around. But he's so fast. As Goethe goes top, 128.810. Mini second by 37,000. Montoya third by a tenth. Megatuna fourth. Dune in fifth. Noleon is sixth at the moment. But yeah, and with the NASCAR scene as well, we've got Chicago coming up soon, which is the circuit's only street race. And that's going to be insane. SVG's
oh no, I loved the street race last year.
Yeah,
a little bit of a wide moment there.
On the gravel, coming in as well for Joseph Loke. Oh, it's hard to, and he's put it right on the racing line now, that gravel. It gets distributed back for early into turn 10. Yeah,
he's my favourite for the championship.
Fornaroli.
He's my favourite for the champion. Fornaroli, he's my favourite. I like him quite a lot. I think he's got a lot of talent. He just needs to get a win.
My money's still on Gabriel Mini.
Yeah, that's a fair pick. That's a very fair pick. He's a very talented driver, Gabriel Mini.
The camera's a bit glitchy there because we're cutting back to Fornaroli. He's come out the last corner now, New Holland. Down then towards turn number 1. So we've got Formula 3 practice 1, then we got F2 practice, and then we got an hour break for lunch. Then we got Formula 1 coming back in as well for their first practice session. Then it's F3 and F2 quali. Then it's practice 2 for Formula 1. Then it's F1 Academy qualifying. Megan and Jess with you for that. And then I'm done for the day after FP2. Josh T, I'm taking you through IndyCar as well. And I'm going to go get some sleep. Oh, Goethe and Medicune. Yeah, go for their investigation for impeding intensity. I'm still tired from the weekend as well. It's like insomnia comes from Le Mans as well. So.
Oh yeah, I mean, I would have loved to join you guys for that, but I had I was going to download festival, so I wasn't. Which, by the way, I don't regret going to. It's absolutely incredible, despite the absolutely horrendous weather.
Yeah, I heard it rained a lot of Donington.
So, mudload 2024, honestly.
I was quite funny. Well, when I go there, it was at Donington, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Right, it was in the middle of the track, not like on the track, but like in that area, the infield. It's called.
Right, well,
in the infield. It was really good.
I'm off there next month for World Superbikes, so I'll have a look.
I saw that was on.
Yeah.
I saw that was on when I was watching the advertising. I was like, oh yeah, World Superbikes, that's cool. No, it was just weird walking across the track knowing it's not being used really for racing purposes. It's just kind of weird.
Yeah, it is a strange one. I don't really get it. I mean, I've had friends who went there, and it's like, do you not know where you're standing? They're going like, yeah, Donington Music Festival. It's like, no, this is a historic racetrack. Forget that, it's a racetrack. However, I do always wonder when people, I saw a couple of them were there from school, my old school days, and they were there. I was like, How many of you are just thinking of me right now when you're on this racetrack? How many of you? That's what I was thinking, because I saw about 12 of them go. Oh, off the track, car 8 of Casper Sutra, and going through the gravel at the last corner, New Holland gets back on the circuit.
Got it going.
That's very good news. John,
Did well there.
that's the first time I've actually realised how different the last corner has actually become since 1994, and it's even in 2001. 2001,
That's
that
the
last
one
corner's different.
corner.
Yeah.
For me, it's the one corner of the track that's just was the big issue.
Yeah.
I think the chicane was there just for safety reasons, but nowadays I think the cars are safe enough that we don't really need a chicane there.
Let's take a look. He got on the exit. Actually, that twitched mid-corner. He was looking to end up in the barrier, actually. About 2 wheels worth away from the barrier. And Sutra knows not to put too hard a foot down on the pedal to beach the car. One of the Tridents going off the track. That's Megatuniff and bringing gravel on. We're going to have to sweep the track before F2. Just snapping the oversteer, just driving it over the side of the track. There's the old layout. I don't know why the old layout's there. They haven't used it in years now. For anything. That used to be a good part of the track, actually. If you ever get to do it, Jack, on the circuit, on an old simulator, the exit of Kamsa down to that heavy braking zone, it was feared because you were going so fast, you braking for that chicane, you missed your braking and going straight into a concrete wall. That's why in 94 there was a chicane added in order to try and slow them all down. But that's why it then changed in 95. And into 96.
94, 95 probably.
Yeah, they changed, and then we had a new section added. The new look. So this section here, Kamsa, this is the same. We used to go straight on down there on that part of the track, come back on the chicane, but then this bit was added back in 2000. This one was added back in 95, 96. Then this bit used to go off that old turn 10, 11, 12 complex. It was added in 2004 in order to make sure that it was safe enough for everyone to go through. And then the chicane was added in 2006. So the third sector here completely changed. But now we've just gone back to how it was originally. I love it. Doing the lap attack yesterday was the easiest lap attack I've done in years. Just flat out racing. Shields moves up. Oh, look at that! Martin Steinshaw from last to first on one run in practice. It's a 1:28.774, 36 thousandths faster than Goethe. That's a very good time with 7 minutes to go. Sutra's back out, dusting himself off a little bit as well. Tyres are utterly destroyed. Oh, and he's got floor damage as well from that chip to the gravel. That's going to be some duct tape between sessions before qualifying. Just to make sure it's all okay. He's getting back in now. Well, why not? Head back out there, change over again. Still going to be a lot more interesting one. What we need is a commentary team just for the practice sessions. Give me a bit of a break. Out of the track then comes Gabriel Mini. Going to do a practice start though. On board with your pick to win the championship, Jack. Follow early.
Yeah. I mean, he's a great driver. He just needs a win.
Yeah.
That's the thing. He needs a win. He's great. He's consistent, but I mean, not to compare to NASCAR too much. He's like Sheldon Creed. He's great, consistent. He just hasn't won. Like a Daniel Hemrick as well.
He's had a couple of attempts though, hasn't he, for already? He was close in Bahrain. He was close in Australia. So he just needs a bit of luck. Yeah. Bit of luck.
At least he's not like Sheldon Creed and finishing second place 9 times now.
Yeah.
And still has some fun.
Forever the bridesmaid.
Because a Sheldon Creed fan hurts a lot.
Forlorelli's locked up coming into turn 11 as well. Traffic everywhere. Gravel everywhere too.
Probably his lap gone.
Yeah, he's backed out of it, coming into the last corner at New Holland. Teammate just... Oh, yellow flags! And, well, that's the first time they've appeared today. Yellows are out. Where I don't... There, turn 1. I saw a lock-up as Forlorelli. This was him getting blocked by traffic there, Jack. And there's nowhere to go. This is going to be a problem in qualifying.
At the M25.
Yeah.
It really is.
Oh.
Like when you've got one of those... It's like when you've got... Like, you're going the speed limit and you've got one of those drivers who just goes like 10 to 20 miles an hour below the speed limit.
Oh!
In front of you. Oh! That's Boyer, isn't it?
Yeah, Mario Boyer and the red flag out with 4 minutes 40 to go. That looks to be a brake failure if he's gone in that hard yet into the Tech Pro barrier. Front suspension knocked off, he can't believe it, but to end up that deep in the gravel, it's 861 metres from the control line down towards turn 1, so that braking zone's over. It's a long start-finish rate, one of the longest on the calendar for runs, and he must have locked up big time. I did see a puff of smoke on the screen just before we went to that replay. Here it is again on board. So watch that front left tyre. It's coming down the pit lane. Approaches the braking zone. He's going to snag it. 3, 2, 1. Double lock up. Oh!
That's weird.
Yeah, that is weird. As soon as he hits the brakes, both lock up. That sounds like a failure of the brakes to me. Like they just stuck.
Yeah, that did not look like driver error.
No. That's it. That's a fast one. Straight on into the tower. That's like Schumacher in 99. Snatches...
What, at Silverstone?
Yeah. Snatches both brakes straight on into the wall. That is not his fault at all. That is a brake issue that has to be checked. Because that was quite scary. And the session will not be resumed. Obviously, with 3 minutes to go and the Tech Pro damaged, they need to appear for the start of F2 in 20 minutes. So that's it. Session will not be resumed. It's not too long of a walk actually for Mario Boyer because they get on the scooter and what they'll do is they'll take him back. They'll take him. There's behind the grandstand there's a road, so you go behind the road, straight down, past the fan zone, and then you get to the tunnel at the edge of the circuit. You go under the tunnel, goes underneath the start-finish line, underneath the pit lane. It comes out just if you see it on your screen here. Oh, it's just changed. It comes out behind the paddock on the left-hand side. So you walk up those steps. And then you're immediately sort of in the paddock area for the media suite, and you're there. You can go in, do your, get in, and then back to the media. So it's not actually that bad. I do miss this track. I miss it a lot. I want to go back. Hopefully they might still use it for testing, or we have the Catalan Grand Prix. That seems to be a rumour going around.
I'd like that. That'd be good. I'm hearing Bahrain's going to get pre-season testing next year, though.
That's bad because we go to Australia first. It should be Catalonia.
I know. Makes no sense, but
Let's go Bahrain, Australia, Bahrain. That's clear, isn't it? Oh, hello. They never make any sense anymore, sadly.
no.
Have they refired the cars? Are they the F2s? Yeah, it does not look good. As got cars going out the circuit then. It can't be for practice start, surely, because the session's under red. So I don't know why they're heading back out there, but a couple of them are.
Maybe for the small race paddock, I'm not sure.
Oh, well, either way they're going off. Jack, what do you make of that session?
Overall, not much really happening. You got the issue for Boyer at the end, but I think we're going to be going into this with a fairly exciting qualifying, personally.
20 minutes.
Yeah, I'll be joining you later, of course, for qualifying.
Thank you, Jack. 20 minutes to go until F2. Go get a drink and some breakfast. We'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.